I'll be comparing the Rodecaster Pro 2 to the Zoom H6 using a Rode Podmic and Samson Q2U with a lot more options going from cheap to expensive. Let's jump right in. All right, you guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing great. So as you can see, I have a lot that is going on, from super cheap, as in I have this lavalier mic going into an iPhone 14. Cool. And then you have expensive, right? You have the Rodecaster Pro 2 with some Rode Podmics. So here's how they sound. I will speak on these, and I'm going to have what is playing up in the top right. So let's actually start from cheapest to more expensive. All links will be down below in the description box. So if you want to hop on something I have in this video, it's going to help out the channel. So right now you can actually hear me in the harmonic lavalier, and that's going into an iPhone 14. And again, this room, I would say it's not great on how it's being the audio treated, right? Because you have a wall there, you have a ceiling. I'm sure as I'm speaking, all the waves are bouncing over the end. So in this case, you probably want to get a mic of some sort, but that is all up to you. Or a lav, but for a lav, it's going to get everything around it. So if you are just talking like this and you want this in the shot, awesome. Or if you want a lot more people that are in the room, like let's say you're going to be speaking to that person on a podcast of some sort, cool. I would hop probably onto something of this sort if you're trying to save money, or your actual phone. All depends on you. And I do have the Rode VidMic I'm going to actually hook up into the iPhone 14, and you'll kind of hear a difference. Now I am speaking into the Rode VidMic MEL into the iPhone 14, and I'm using Rode's actual app, and this is with the actual windscreen off, which I am indoors, but I'm sure it helps with plosives, right? Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. I do wonder how that actually sounds, because I can't really hear it right now because I am hooked up with my headphones in the actual Rodecaster Pro 2. If you make a fist, it's about 4 fists away from my actual mouth. If you have to use something like this, hey, you know, perfect. You have to do what you got to do. I actually started out with this. So now let's actually hop into the actual I'd say more expensive stuff. And again, you guys, this stuff is not using a computer, right? Because that right there is a lot more expensive, because you have to buy a computer. And of course, you can hook up the Samson Q2Us right into the computer via USB. But let's just say you have your phone and you have this and you want to sync it in post, or just use it straight to your phone. So now let's hop over to the actual Zoom H6, and I have actually used this for a long time for, I'd say, almost all my podcasting. We have the Samson Q2U, and I have it set to a level of 7, and now we are speaking into the Rode Podmic, and it is at the exact same thing, and yes, we are at 7. So if you have a Zoom H6 of some sort, cool, awesome. Guys, this works. And it's got 4 inputs with an option to put in 6 with an adapter piece, which is legit. Here's how this sounds. And we're going to hop back over to the Samson Q2U and I guess hear how these sound, right? And I will be comparing the actual Zoom H6 audio to the Rodecaster Pro 2, because if you didn't know, the Zoom H6 is in it's going to record in a 16-bit float, and the Rodecaster is a 32-bit float, which means I guess it's more awesome, the audio, and I would say it won't peak or clip, all that kind of stuff. You have more options, so that's the main reason I upgraded, but it is all up to you. I believe it sounds super clean. But, you know, again, if you, I would say, have the actual funds to upgrade to something of this sort, and you have certain people, like, again, you have certain people that you're going to sit with who are loud, or, all that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh, you just yelled and it clipped. That's not going to be fun. But that is how these actual sound. So I'm going to hop over to the actual the Rodecaster Pro 2, and we're going to compare the differences on the mics, and then go back and forth on the H6 and the Rodecaster Pro. All right, so now you are hearing me out of the Rodecaster Pro 2, and it's on the first preset, which is the neutral option, right, on both of them. And I will go through each of them, and then we're going to hop into the comparisons of the H6. So again, we are on the first setting, which is the neutral. And now in 3, 2, 1, we're going to hop over to the podcast studio preset. So we're going to 3, 2, 1, and go. And it just swapped over now. I do wonder if you can actually hear a change. And now we're going to hop over to the broadcast setting in 3, 2, 1, broadcast. Cool. And now we're going to hop over to what I have it set as on certain things that I guess work for me and all that. So we are at 3, 2, 1, and it just swapped over there. I do wonder if you hear a difference, because I believe I do have the noise gate off. But now we're going to hop over to the actual Samson Q2U as we speak into the mic. It's awesome on the Rodecaster Pro 2 that you can kind of switch it on the fly. I would say have your stuff set up on point, right? So, and again, we are on the first preset. This is the neutral preset, and we're going to hop over to the podcast studio in 3, 2, 1. Cool. Awesome. So we're over to that. I do wonder if that kind of hurt it. So I'm going to hop over to broadcast in 3, 2, 1, and go. And if you heard, the door just opened. So that'll be interesting to see if you guys heard that. But I'm going to hop over to what I used as my preset. I have it set as main 1, and it just swapped over now. Let's see if you heard that or not. But you guys, I think this is pretty cool, right? So I'm going to put these back over to podcast studio, because I think it does sound decent. So that just switched over right now. And let me hop over to the first one real quick. So we're on the first mic, and I'm going to swap it in 3, 2, 1, podcast studio. Cool. So here's how those sound right now. And I'm going to compare the Rodecaster Pro 2 to the Zoom H6 to see, if one sounds, I guess, a lot better than the other, if you have to hop into that. And also, I think why I actually upgraded is because of the ports of the headphones, guys. It's built in, so you can just kind of go in on each. It's the exact same option you get with the Zoom P4, I believe it is. You just plug headphones in, and we all can kind of hear it. With the Zoom H6, you actually can't do that. You have to get a splitter and a certain amp, so that will plug in, that will split the audio into the headphones out 4 ways, right? So you have to get that extra. It's still a lot cheaper than, of course, to get the actual Rodecaster Pro 2. So you've been hearing that from the Rodecaster. So let's actually bring in the actual Zoom H6 Podmic, and I do wonder how that sounds as a comparison as when you're speaking into them. And let me pull off this pop filter. And again, you guys, it's crazy because this Rode Podmic up on the left is used. I bought this one used online. I got it with the actual Rodecaster Pro 2. And over here onto the actual Zoom H6 is a brand new one. I believe it's only like a month old, and I've used it a handful of times. So I do wonder what it sounds like. So again, here's what it will sound like as you get something of the sort, the Rode Podmic going into it. And again, it's got the, I guess, higher quality of audio. Right, so I do wonder how this sounds. So now we're going to hop over to the Samson Q2Us. And you guys, these ones are on point. I do like them. You guys, I have had these for a minute, and they do sound super good. So let's hop over to those right now. and I'm speaking into them simultaneous at the same time. I'm just gonna speak straight through these so that I don't have to, I guess say it twice, but at the same time you're going to hear it. So here's how it sounds on the actual Zoom H6, and this is how it sounds like on the RØDECaster 2. But I'm going to switch it on the RØDECaster 2 to the first setting is neutral. So that as we're speaking into this, I'm just going to go back and forth on them so you could kind of somewhat, I guess, hear the actual difference on them. So here's what it sounds like on the Zoom H6, and here's what it sounds like on the actual RØDECaster Pro 2 in the neutral. So now I'm going to swap it over to the podcast setting in 3, 2, 1. Cool. Switched it over. And I do wonder how it sounds like compared to the actual Zoom H6. So now I'm going to swap over to the broadcast in 3, 2, 1, and go. Cool. I wonder how that sounds compared to the Zoom H6. This should be an interesting comparison. And you guys put down below what you use, right? As if you're going to speak on a podcast or use it for the OBS, you're doing vlogging. Well, I would say if you're going to do vlog, I would say don't use a mic depending on what you're doing, right? So I'm going to swap it over to my main preset that I have set for myself in 3, 2, 1, and go. Awesome. So that just switched over, and I do wonder what the difference is on the actual Samson Q2U. This, I would say that this right here was fun, but again, you guys, it all depends on what you want to actually spend. I hope this helped out. Like, subscribe, and I just made a video up here on if you want to enhance your audio, either with CapCut or with Audacity. Make sure to watch that. Have a great rest of your day.